Okay, I actually have 7 plays today in college basketball. 6 of these are totals, the other is a line. So just may take about 7 or 8 minutes to get through this, but the conference games are kind of getting back into us. So that's when I go in order. DePaul and UConn, the first one. 137.5 is the line. 137.5. I like the under. DePaul with the bad offense. UConn's got the good defense. The paces are 204 and 331. So some people may be shocked by the 331 at UConn. But they're not really running good offense this year. A lot more methodical, very efficient. And when it comes to DePaul, just to give you a heads up, they played Villanova and Northwestern recently, who are both pretty good defensive teams with slow paces. And DePaul scored 48 and 46 in those games. I think this will be somewhat similar to that. I don't think UConn goes 90 plus or whatever. Not like they can't, but I don't think they will. They've hit that number just 4 times this year. Again, not enough possessions to get up there on a regular basis. 3 of their 6 December games, they scored in the 60s, scored, I think, 72 or 74, I think, and another one. So I think it stays under the 137.5. Game 2 was Maryland and Purdue, 2 really good defensive teams. Purdue's kind of a mid-pace, and Maryland's real slow, again, because they don't have a very good offensive team. They're trying to minimize these possessions. So, again, 2 good defenses. I think the pace and possessions will be lower because Maryland kind of has to do that to have a shot in this game, even at home. And then, again, Purdue's down on the road, so I don't expect them to be as great offensively as they have for most this year. So I think Maryland will probably have some problems scoring. I know they've played a little bit better of late offensively, but Purdue's another level and yada yada yada. So I think the 140.5 I think is a pretty good number. I just think I don't think Maryland will do their part in getting this over. So game 3, Creighton and Georgetown, 146.5, 146.5. I like the under here as well. Creighton had that great start, but they scored in the 60s 3 of the last 4 games. And it was against the 4th, the 91st, and the 155th best defense. So really great in Marquette and Little Mid. But Creighton has a really good defensive team and a really slow pace. So you can see the pattern I've been going with today. Georgetown kind of a mid-offense and a slower pace. And so Georgetown is at the 254th best defense. So could Creighton get hot and have a huge game? Yeah. With just the way the way they played recently. Plus, I think Georgetown again is going to have to play at that slower pace to kind of stay in the game. And again, similar to Maryland, I don't think Georgetown will do their part to get over. I think they'll get shut down a little bit here today. Game 4. Cornell Baylor, 167.5, 167.5. I don't do this a lot, but I am going over the 167.5. It's going to be a lot of points. But Cornell has a really good offensive team and a bad defensive team, so it's a nice mixture for an over. Add that to them having the 20th fastest pace, so they like to run and gun, and this is going to be no different. It's not like they're going to slow down for Baylor. That's what they do. Baylor has, I think, the number 2 offensive team in college. They have a decent 65th ranked defense, but not elite, and 129th pace. So they're just in that top third. My guess is Baylor may hit 100 in this game. And Cornell will do 70 to get their over. I think it's a huge number, and I know a lot of people will never take something that looks like it's going to be some 85 to 84 game or whatever. But I honestly think this goes over. I think Baylor does their part, and I think they may hit triple figures. All right, let's go with number 5, which is San Jose State in Wyoming. 142.5, 142.5, and I like the over in this as well. This is my favorite game of the day. I don't understand the number. I think it's just a bad number. I can't figure out where it came from. The teams on the year, those 2 teams, are averaging like 147, 148 a game. But more recently, they've both been scoring more, mainly mid-70s to low 80s. And looking back, that 142.5, San Jose has gone over that number in 6 of the last 7, in Wyoming in 8 of the last 9. So it just seems like a really bad number. I don't know why it's there. I haven't seen anything crazy that explains it. It's easily my favorite play of the game, and I think it's over 150. I think you'll be comfortable taking that pick. One more total, and this is the Northwestern Illinois game. This is more of a guess than anything, and I'm taking a shot here. So if you want to completely ignore this one, feel free. It's 140.5, so 140 and a half, like the under. I know Illinois has been playing been scoring a ton, but I look at this as there's 2 really good defenses. Northwestern plays at one of the 10 slowest paces. So again, they want to keep things low. It's like they tried to do against Purdue. I think before that game went in OT, I think Purdue had 75 points, which is low for them, but they're a great offensive team. So I know Illinois kind of wants to run, but again, with Shannon out, I just think they're going to have to do things differently. Part of it is in the starting Big Ten play. They've got to figure out who their number 1 guy is. So we'll see what they have to do to change things up. But I think Northwestern will dictate the pace in this. So I think it'll be fewer possessions because that's kind of what they'll have to do. So I don't think either team hits 70. So it's at 140.5. I don't think any team hits 70. That is, I would say, my least favorite pick because it's more of a guess on what Illinois is going to do without Shannon. That's kind of my guess. We're going to find out. And then the last place, so 7 of 7, is SMU. They are an 8.5-point favorite at home against Charlotte. Crunched all the numbers. It seems like an easy cover. But SMU is they're just a much better overall team, kind of an underrated team. No one's really talking about them, but part of it is I think again they're considered a small school, even though SMU probably shouldn't be considered one. But they are. I compared them to Charlotte. I said, listen, they're a much better shooting team. SMU is actually 47th in the country in shooting efficiency. Offensive rebounding. These are key stats that I actually like. I look at when I'm looking for winners. But offensive rebounding, they're 32nd in percentage. And then defensively, they're 2nd in all of college basketball in shooting efficiency. So these are pretty huge numbers for me. And I look at this and I'm just like, I don't know why this is 8.5 at home. It seems like a pretty easy win, pretty easy cover. So there's 7 games total. For the most part, I feel pretty good about them. Like I said, the Northwestern Illinois, maybe a little bit of a guess. But the SMU game and the San Jose Wyoming over, I feel really, really good about. They seem I don't really understand the lines on those. So good luck to everybody, and hopefully it's 7-0, a big